Okay, this is part 3 of the WP no-code development process. While I was off screen, I did one thing, which is improve this photo. I just really didn't like the way it was looking. And it wasn't my plan to do anything off screen, quote unquote, but I do want to, I do want to show you how I did this, but it took me a long time, so I don't want to, this isn't really like a photo editing class or how to use like the new image manipulation program class. So I'll just kind of show you the very, very basics of what I did. So I had to get this cut out. And how did I do that? I had to basically manually, they have like this sort of thing that traces edges, but it wasn't good enough for this because the image is a little blurry when you zoom in. So I had to manually erase all across, and it took forever. I mean, it took maybe 20 minutes. And then once I did that, I did a desaturate, meaning I took it to black and white. Then I did a colorize, and we put it to this color. And then I had to actually do some stuff to make the background transparent, so that we could get basically an orange background in addition to the orange thing that we've got. I mean, in addition to the orange foreground. So it was something like this, and then you see that kind of leaves these white lines. And I did a little bit of manual cleanup on those white lines as well. And that basically gives us this, which is closer to this, although you'll see this is all mediums and darks, and this is some whites and darks and stuff. So it doesn't really look exactly like what they were going for with the theme demo, but I think it looks good enough, and it looks better than it did. So that's something I did offline. All right, so the About page is definitely a work in progress. We're going to have to drop a contact form in here at some point. Let's look at the blog section and see what we think. So the blog section is obviously a layout built in Beaver Builder as well. But then you go to edit it and it's really weird. So I'm going to discard that and see what the story is here. Oh, so this was actually created with Gutenberg. I can tell that by these WP whatever commented things. This is kind of how Gutenberg works, because it has like a fallback to just like being markup that the Classic Editor can interpret, as you see, but we lose like all the layout stuff that Gutenberg's got in it. So I kind of have a choice to make. Do I want to live with this being a Gutenberg thing, or do I want to rebuild it in Beaver Builder? So I'm going to go ahead and let myself switch editors if I want. We certainly want to do that. And that's going to let me reload this page. Okay, there we go. Now, how do I... Yeah, so we could convert to Beaver Builder. I don't think that would work. It's worth a try maybe, but don't think it would work. Or we could switch to the Classic Editor. Let's just see what this does. I have no idea what it'll do. Pretty sure it's going to break everything. It could have been worse. But I am not going to save my changes. And it may have broken the page anyway, because the switch to Beaver Builder may have broken stuff. Yeah, I think it did. So let's look at the revision history over here. Let's go back to the way it was before all the content. Let's see, what happened exactly? So most of the content was deleted, it looks like. So yeah, let's just go back, which is a nice thing WordPress lets you do, although you don't want to rely on it too much. So yeah, you can see how Gutenberg works. It gives you a decent preview of what the blog section is going to look like, although it's not perfect. So it says blog up top. It's got this weird stuff. Which I don't even know what this is. I'm assuming it's just like static text. And then looks like my wife is home. So my dog is going to start barking, at which point I'm going to hang up. So this might be a fairly short video. Okay, now this is good. This is a post grid, which is kind of what we want. And this is a post grid as well. Now how did... Because I use Gutenberg so little, I'm trying to figure out how they... Okay, so this is all from marketing. So that's how they did it. They didn't do what would be cool, which is the first 3 go here and then the next 2 go here, which may not even be possible in Gutenberg by default. So let's... Yeah, so this is from categories business analysis, and this is from categories category marketing or whatever. I'm feeling like I kind of don't want to deal with this entire blog section, to be honest. It's like, it's oddly manual and kind of awkward. I don't think it looks that great. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to make any changes to it. Although maybe what I'll do... blog Gutenberg. Just so that we know what this is. Okay. And I'm going to add a new page just called blog. Publish it. Go to settings, reading, and set that to be the blog page. Now, my memory with Astra is that the actual blog page is pretty bland, but that might actually be fine. I'm not sure I want much more than this, to be honest. Maybe I do want a sidebar though. Sidebar. Okay, so it's set in the customizer, so we'll use Astra to... Oh, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and change the menu while I'm at it. All right, so that puts that page in the menu instead of the one we just replaced. Oh, it looks like my wife may not be home. It was a false alarm for my dog. All right. The blog section, here we go. Yeah, and I'm going to just try to get over here so we can see our changes happening in real time. Featured image, title, and blog meta. Okay. So what meta do we want, right? Do we want comments? Do we want author? I'm going to say we don't need an author. I think there's only going to be one author. I'm not even sure we need this either. Categories, tags, and the publish date might be nice, though. Do we want custom content width? Oh, I see. Sure. Okay. Now, here we go. So we want okay, so we're not on a blog post. Oh, here we go. Maybe it's in sidebar settings. So the default layout is no sidebar, which I like. I think this counts as an archive page. The way that's good. That's the way Astra thinks about it. This is an archive page, and it is an archive page. It's the blog archive page. So we'll say the sidebar with this 30%. Okay. And then now with that, how do we go back to the blog and say, I don't really want this to have a custom width. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think the padding's a little too much. Maybe not, actually. Maybe I kind of like it. Let me see what it looks like on a mobile device. Or this is like kind of like on a tablet, like an iPad. So here's the content, and then here's the blog section. On a phone. Yeah, I think I might be fine with this. So I'm going to go ahead and publish all these changes. And while we're at it, so what do we got? Recent posts, recent comments, archives. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of archives and meta, which are like default widgets in WordPress that aren't very useful. Yeah, I think this looks pretty good. I might move categories up here, actually. It's useful. Cool. I like this. So you can see okay, and then it just put us back on the page we were on. So you can see, yeah, this just looks very much like a straight ahead blog section. Then this is the default post that we got when we created the site. And you see it has no featured image, which is why it looks a little strange. So this is cool. Gutenberg pulls in some of the design choices that we've got on the site, but I still want to use the Classic Editor. I don't want to deal with it. All right. Oh, I guess that's technically me writing code, so we'll just pretend I didn't do that. And we'll just do that. All right, and let's just set a featured image for now. WP no code is live. And since okay, you see this 2019 11/22. I think that kind of super specific date thing is probably more trouble than it's worth. So I'm going to go ahead and update this. Then I'm going to go down into settings, permalinks. Before we've been on here for a long time and changing things would mess up our SEO. We're going to just change it to just post name. Or we could change it to month and name, but I don't think that's worth doing. I think we're just going to change it to post name. And we could add a category in there. Sure, what the heck. So you can see we've kind of got this like little templating language going on. So for a post, it's going to be the category and then the name of the post. And this shouldn't affect pages, but it should affect posts, meaning blog posts. Yeah, the problem with it is if you leave things uncategorized, they go in /uncategorized. But I think the benefit of this is it gives both users and search engines a bit of a leg up in understanding how your site is structured and what things relate to each other. Boy, I really don't like the way this looks. So yeah, I think we're going to leave that. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that nothing is ever on categories. Although the issue with this, honestly, is if I do it this way and then I change the category of something, its link changes, which affects SEO. So I actually think I don't want to do this. I think I just want really it to say, do I literally just want it to say blog and then the name of the post? Or do I just want it to say the post name? I feel like just the post name, honestly. After all that thinking, I think I'm just going to do that. I mean, it can be kind of nice for like people to have like a little bit of a breadcrumbs thing where they go blog and then it tacks on, name of post or whatever. But yeah, so this is just the sort of very simple version. And this is also the way it works on WP Shout itself. Like you'll see our articles aren't in any sort of particular place. They just are named what they're named. So like if we look at this, it just says wpshout.com/wp-option-autoload. Now, if you go to our courses, it's sort of a different story. And this is what I was like toying with, is like, you've got this course, Learn WordPress Development, the basic course. And then if you click into one of the articles, they kind of go like this. So it's kind of like a breadcrumbs thing. It's good for SEO. And it can, I think, be good for the user experience too. But yeah, I think for now, I mean, these are big decisions because they're hard to change later without potentially kind of reshuffling yourself in SEO, which is a little uncomfortable. But after all that thinking and talking, I think I am just going to go with nothing at all, just the slug on the post. Now, I did not like the way that the archive page looked, but I'm not even sure if I have an option to change it. Let's bang around in the Astra Customizer and see what we can do about this thing. Archive title. Okay. So we just get to set the size, huh? That's not great. Wonder if there's anything else we can do. Probably not, actually. So to really change the way this thing looks, I would want to start getting in there with CSS, but that's pretty much the whole point, is that we're not doing that. So I guess we're just going to have to live with that. Breadcrumb, no breadcrumbs, sidebar, header. Yeah. So I think we're just going to have to live with archive headers looking like this. And I could change this by editing the theme, which would take PHP knowledge, or I could change it just by editing CSS directly. But I'm not going to do either. What I'm doing here is I'm going to install a plugin called showcurrenttemplate. Really great plugin. It just shows you which template file we're looking at in the theme. So we're looking at a file called archive.php. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is this, and then that's the blog section. And again, I really like the way it looks, just a very, very default blog layout. Okay, this hire me thing is probably a call to action. Looks like we broke this WP Forms shortcode because I don't want to use WP Forms. So we're going to put Gravity Forms in here in a minute. Now I think Astra had an option that the last nav element is a call to action, which I think is cool. So I just want to, last item in menu, here we go. Let's make it a button. That's cool. And the button text should not be button, it should say let's see, watch demos maybe. And the button link, I guess it's just demos. So we'll say, so we're gonna have to make a demos page for this button to go somewhere. Button style, header button, as opposed to theme button, look exactly the same. I would sort of like this to have white text. So I'm going to say FFF, which is white. I think that looks better. Yeah, we can leave this orange for now. All right, I think that looks nice. So this hire me thing, I think is a page we just pretty much don't need. So I'm not going to delete the page itself, but I am going to take it out of the nav menu. This is going to 404. Oh, and it, so what does this mean? HTTPS's server IP address could not be found. Well, you see how wonky this is? It's missing a colon. So now we're going to HTTPS : HTTPS // So that just means that in the customizer, I typoed the link the button goes to. So we're going to have to go back to header, primary menu. Ugh. Okay. And now this is going to, instead of breaking, it's going to 404 because we haven't created a page called demo yet. So I'm just going to, or demos. So I'm just going to create that now. Publish it. And you can see it gets this link demos here by default. And so watch demos will come here. Okay, I'm going to have to pause it here. So that was part 3. Next up, we're going to do some stuff with gravity forms and some other stuff. Okay, thanks for watching.